Hello folks, how we doing? It's another episode of Countdown to Kickoff and it's for Liverpool against Porto tonight at Anfield. Kev, before we get into it, mate, I think you nearly got the lineup spot on, apart from a bit of a strange one at the start, but that's maybe more of a shock to anyone.
Yeah, I was surprised at that one. Genuinely surprised that Allison starts, but I'm glad he's captain, so that's a good thing for tonight. A couple of other notables as well, with Sadio Mane making his 50th appearance in Europe for the club tonight as well. But it's about as strong as we could go within reason tonight. You know, the main players that we wanted rested are being rested. In Virgil, desperately, he needed to be taken out of it. But yeah, that's as strong as we could have gone, I think.
No, I agree, mate. I know I've just saying to you before it. You made a good point. I was a bit annoyed, thinking, what's Origi got to do to deserve a start? Just because, like, he comes on against West Ham, we're offering nothing in attack, and he scores, and I do feel like he doesn't get many opportunities. Yeah. But as you said, that might be to do with the dead leg, and there was rumours he was a bit unwell in that time period as well.
I think it might have put the collywobbles up Liverpool at one stage with De Bruyne testing positive for COVID, and with Divock being in the same squad, maybe they were being extra cautious about bringing him back in before he was allowed to do any training at all. So maybe it's just a case he needed to have the extra few days with a clear PCR test that he was even allowed back into the training squad. So maybe he just hasn't trained since he's come back. We don't know, and Klopp will never tell us. So
yeah, possibly, Kev. Because listen, I'm not saying I'm like love Origi, but there's times when you feel like there is a justified case. Like, come on, at times it's like you need to give him a bit of. So maybe I hope that is the case. I really do.
I hope that is as well, because otherwise, I agree with Kevin Bull. If it wasn't for that, Salah or Mane would have been rested for sure. Or would have been on the bench. You look at the bench; it's a who's who. It's a case. If you want to get minutes into players' legs later on to aid their recovery, they're all there waiting to come on. So, Porto are going pretty strong as well, from what I can see. Pepe's back. Luis Diaz plays. Otavio is one to watch. He's a very good player for them. Very underrated. We were loosely linked with him in the summer last year, and quite like him. He'd be one to watch tonight. There's one player on their bench tonight that if he comes on, I'm keen to see, and that's Vieira. He starred for Portugal in their Euro Under-21 campaign, and he was their best player by a country mile.
I think I watched a bit of him, Kev.
Yeah, he's going to be the next one to come out of Portugal. Him and Gonçalves, for me, are the two Portuguese talents to come off the treadmill, and he'll be one to watch if he comes on.
Well, they've got, like, if you look at the Portuguese team right now, I mean, they've had good teams. They had that spell where there was maybe better individuals, but if you look at the last couple of years, that's maybe a sign of things to come in the future, especially as well. I think just to add in, Marky reckons, just to add to what you're saying, Kev, that Mane and Salah maybe just 60 in the tank and then make the changes, and maybe that helps having a strong bench because you can do that.
Well, yeah, I mean, there is the option. I agree 100% with Mark. There's no reason why, say, on the hour, bring Trent on, put Trent at right back, move Nico into a right wing position, see how he goes for the last half hour, flip him over onto the left-hand side and see how he gets on, cut him back in on his strong right foot and see how it goes. If we're in a safe position, then, there's no reason why you wouldn't do that. I would think that I'd hope the substitutions are planned anyway. Also, Minamino playing through the middle, Sim said there, Minamino will probably play through the middle, but honestly, I think his best position is on the wing, so no big surprise about Origi. I disagree. I don't think he's got the pace to beat someone one-on-one on the wing, but I think he's got the ball-playing ability in that 9 to come deeper and play a 1-2 and make runs off the ball. I think his vision centrally is very, very underrated. I honestly think that his ideal position would be in a 4-2-3-1 in that number 10 role behind the striker.
But, or like, do you know I've said this before, how like teams might play a 4-4-1-1, like where it's like not necessarily a 10, Kev, but just that person who's just
second
behind.
striker.
So it's like the flick on ball, the facilitator.
The Sheringham role. The Dennis Sheringham role, as I call it, or the Dennis Bergkamp role.
A bit of intelligence about you. That the kind of, it's not necessarily the eye of a needle pass, but it's the intelligent passes, the movement to create space. I think that's a good comment by Sim, Kev. I agree that he's very good in the middle. I do think he can play out in the wing, but not in the sense, but more in the sense of, because I think see, some players can play out wide, and I think Finner says he thinks he can rotate. I think he's okay out in the wing as well, but not if he's got to try and beat players one-on-one. I just think, if you be inverted on the left, you come in and you can link up. Some players can actually do that if they're intelligent enough with the movement, and I feel like he can do a job there as well, Kev. But I do get what you're saying, because
ideal if you have a full back that wraps around you.
Yes, exactly. It's a bit like what I would say is, see, the most impressive thing from Minamino this season is actually genuinely been his finishing. Like, and I know it's the Preston and Norwiches, but they're still good finishes. That finish against Preston was brilliant. Like, you can't dispute that.
The run for his goal against Arsenal, just peeling off in the back post, knew the ball would come, and it's the run that made the goal, because it would have been so easy to be switched off from what was going on in the game, to know that, if I'm here, I have to make that run. And he just made it. It was just instinct. He always tends to be in the right place, more often than not. His positional sense is very, very good. And he can disappear in games for an hour and then pop up with something magic. So I'm looking forward to seeing him, because we're going to need him.
Yeah.
Come January, we're definitely going to need him. So it's good to see him. Good to see him. And it's good to see him with an experienced enough side around him. He's not playing with the kids. You're playing in big boy football tonight at a full house with Anfield. And
listen, you play with better players, Kev. Like, you do get better opportunities. Get certain passes will be made. But Finners was just saying as well, he done that at Salzburg, and I think the defensive defender was adding, agreeing about the 4-2-3-1, and Kevin Ball just added that off the striker, probably never see him play there, unfortunately.
No.
Yeah, I agree with that, Kev, but that's why I like Minamino, because I feel like he's an intelligent player, so I feel like someone will get the best out of him, whatever happens. But I feel like we should still use him as a good instrument in our team off the bench. And I feel like, I think he's getting a bit of that. I can see improvements in his game this season. And as you said, Kev, playing with the kids is actually quite difficult to start in those games. Ox struggled. Ox literally against Atletico. Yeah, some players it doesn't work because it's that rhythm not there. So I feel like, give him all the credit. He deserves it, and I'm very happy. And his confidence will be sky high right now, Kev, after that goal with his first touch.
So, and the confidence that you've done your bit, you've got your goal, and here's your start. And all these players know their role within the squad. They know well in advance when they're playing. So, I mean, it's not like you drop it on these players the day before a game that you're playing. They'll know. They'll all know in blocks of 3, as long as there's no disasters and no really bad runs of form, that, look, all things being right, all things being equal, you are playing on Saturday. So I'm resting you tonight, but you're going to be in there with that. I'm the same with that with Kelleher. I'm disappointed that he isn't starting.
That's what I brought that one up. I thought I was going to start with you.
I'm disappointed in that, purely and simply because the kid needs minutes. It's just in case minutes for me. That's all it is. It's just in case minutes, because I don't want him to get to the stage where he starts getting disillusioned with his position within the squad. That by being a number 2 means you're not playing at all. And if you're not playing in domestic cups and these kind of games, I don't want him starting to edge his own way towards the door in the summer, because there would be plenty of takers for him.
Well, I think the thing is as well, Kev, right? It's like, see, to us, there's not much on this game, but see, to a player to play in a Champions League game, to just get another Champions League game under your belt, and even for your own legacy of what you've done in your career, that's a big thing, Kev. You know what I mean? Champions League. So I'm a bit annoyed as well. I feel like, what? Unless I'm thinking is when I seen this lineup, are we missing something, Kev? Is there maybe like a stat that Allison's trying to get tonight for a certain amount of games? But there's nothing like that.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it is. I think the only thing I think that you could say, maybe it's to do with Konate. They want that strong triangle to bed him in properly. You already have Morton is going to be severely tested through the middle. So, look, on paper, through that number 6 role, we might be a bit easier to get at without Fabinho in there, but I'm only clutching at straws.
I think it's a weird one. It is a strange one.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, because if I'm thinking this is whatever you want to say, it's still a game you can give players the experience. Like Nico Williams is going to play tonight, be in good form, massive experience for him. It's a strange one. But just since we're on Allison, Finner's ads, have you touched on Allison's first captaincy? What's your thoughts on that, Kev? With Allison being the captain tonight?
I prefer captains being behind you, not in front of you.
I agree.
I don't like strikers being captain. Sorry, pardon me. The keepers, centre backs, holding mids, centre mids, they have the game in front of them. They can see what's going on. They can direct traffic if need be. Tell someone to do whatever. Absolutely. If a striker's got enough to worry about, forwards have enough to worry about. They don't need the added burden of. It's not just the on-field stuff that you see. It's the off-field stuff that a captain will have to do as well, and they just don't need it. And for the sake of it's one game, I think it rotates around the senior or it used to be the most experienced player on the pitch.
Yeah, something changed. Did something change in the summer, Kev? So there's like a group of them now.
It's a leadership group, isn't there?
So who's in it? So it was Allison, Trent, Robertson,
Hendo, Van Dijk.
Hendo, Van Dijk, and then there might be one, and Milner. Sorry, Milner's just after Hendo.
I think it's 4 or 5.
So obviously he's changed that logic in the sense of it's about the group now. Because if I'm correct, Salah was there.
Kevin is right. Kevin Ball is right. The players voted for the leadership group to be the bridge between the coaching staff and the playing staff, and Allison made it in there.
Yeah, because that changed this. Because I know in the previous years he'd just done who's been there the longest, but that'll be the reason for it. And you know what? I think that actually makes a lot of sense. It's got to come within the team. So fair enough.
I have no problem with that. It's good for him as well. It is good for him.
It's a big moment for him. Of course it is. Yeah, massive moment.
And if you're going to be there, do something with it. If Kelleher isn't going to play, then by all means, Allison, take the armband. And I gotta be honest. I'm looking at that 11, and last night I was very kind of looking forward to the game. I'll sit back, relax. I'm going to watch it. Now it's like 40 minutes to kick off. I'm like, I want to see us rattle these.
Buzzing.
I'm kind of buzzing for it now because I want to see Morton do well. I want to see Taki do well. Same for Nico. I want to see these lads take their international, Nico especially, take your international form and show people that you're capable of.
Turns out he's actually playing left back tonight, Kev, and Shimmercast is on the right.
Oh yeah, inverted fullbacks.
Yeah, mate, it was. Listen, give him credit. I'm his biggest critic, but he was very good as a wing back. Like he really was. He was good.
I think he is. I think that is his role. I think Wales' system is perfect for him.
He looks so much more confident on the ball.
Very good. He always was, though. Going forward has never been a problem with him.
But I think in the right sometimes. You told me before he usually cut in and get that shot away. But see, because in the right, when he's at the right hand side, I feel like sometimes he was hesitating. Whereas I think if you're on the left, you can cut in and you'll shoot as if you feel the confidence.
Yeah, it's a different role because Mo will stay wide. Our right back won't go around him. Very, very, very rare. So his game tonight is going to be, stand on the halfway line. He's going to be tested by DS. So he won't get much further than the halfway line, tucking into the 8 role, allowing Ox to move a bit forward. But he'll have to be wary of Diaz in behind him. And Simicast will have Otavio on the other side to worry about.
Diaz is a very good player. Very, very good player.
He's all right. Look, I mean, I think it's a weak league. And it's
it was the Copa America I was impressed with him, to be honest, Kev. I thought it looked good.
Look, I think there's definitely a player there, but it's the same for me with the Dutch league. I think the players are way overpriced coming from some of these leagues at the minute because they're being looked at by Premier League clubs. In all honesty, the likes of Gravenberch and the kid who went to Dortmund, Malen, they're overpriced for what they are. They're not £30 million players. Not until they prove it at a decent level. They're good. They have the ability to get there. But when you price a Jota at 43 million, that's the yardstick for me. And Jota had already done it in the Premier League. You could already see there was a player there. So I think while these players are good, I don't think they're on that kind of level yet. They might get there one day, but they're not there yet. Hello. And we have a freeze. But yeah, Kevin, Malin has started badly for Dortmund, but Dortmund have been on a bit of a good run at late. So I think they've won their last 5, something like that. Porto like the European night, European Norwich for us. They are away. Not so much at home. I think our last time we played them was 0-0. We beat them, I think, 2-1 at home. But the last time I think we beat them 5-0 away, and then it was 0-0 at home. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Ajax strolled through their group, but the last time I looked, they were losing 1-0 away to Besiktas tonight. So I don't know how that's going tonight now. It was 1-0 at halftime, and I know Haller didn't start for Ajax. So they were trying a bit of rotation as well.
Sorry about that, Kev. Genuinely, honestly, mate, I don't know what's happening on my Wi-Fi. There's something strange happening because it just seems to be doing this randomly. But I was going to ask Kev on the
one sec. Jamie Keegan's coming as now or never for Taki. No, it's not, because he's never really had a sustained run of games in the side, Jamie. And it's very difficult for anyone to come in and say, look, right, you get 20 minutes here, and then 2 weeks later you might get another 5, and then in 3 weeks later you get 90. I'd like to see. I judge him on the back of playing 4 or 5 games straight, and then we'll see where he is. And we'll get that over January. But I'm hopeful for him. That's all you can be. I don't think we're at the now or never stage yet. I think to get to the now or never stage, you need at least 3 years under your belt.
Yeah, and I think as well, Kev, see, because he's, if you can mould into that role where you're coming off the bench, but you're maybe one of the first subs if you're chasing a game.
Yeah,
people look down at that. That doesn't mean you're only playing sub games, but it means that, see, if Manny's having a poor game, like he's coming off and you're getting a chance, and if you keep doing that, you're going to be knocking on the door. And I feel like Taki, to me, it looks like his confidence is really, really kind of up there. Sorry, I'm just looking at some of the comments. Conroy really needs to feed the hamsters in the modem. That's brilliant. Listen, I don't know what it is now, folks, because it's like, even when my Wi-Fi used to cut out, it used to be quick. I don't know what's happening. It seems to be the area now. It's very strange. I feel like if a seagull flies by, Wi-Fi will go out. But it's been a strange one. But on that, the team as well, Kev, we spoke about obviously Kelleher, Allison, a bit about Nico. Is there any? We've not really touched on Morton yet? How do you think Morton will get on tonight?
This will be a really big test for him because he's never played against this level of opposition. I mean, when I knocked the Portuguese league because of the quality within the league, Porto are still a very experienced side with some good internationals there. So he's not going to have been up against anything like that apart from games and training. And if he can hold his own in training against the press being practiced on him by our normal starting 11, he'll be fine. It's just a case of managing the occasion for him. Konate is the one that Konate and Matip would be interesting, because the one thing that Diaz and Otavio have is trickery on the ball. Trickery and a bit of pace about him. And in fairness, it's the one thing I suppose you could label at Joel and Ibu is they don't really turn like speedboats. There can be a bit of the oil tanker about them sometimes. So they'll have to be on the ball. And Ox as well, defensively. Thiago has have to take the leadership role in midfield, try to dictate the play when he can. But it's just a feeling out process the first 20 minutes and then see where we are and go from there.
Yeah, like the thing is, I know I speak about him all the time, but like, see, your Billy Gilmore, look at how good he is right now playing for Scotland, and I know he's got back in the Norwich team, got man of the match. But Billy Gilmore gets into the Chelsea team. Now, I'm not saying Tyler Morton's going to be in the same level as that, Kev, but I'm saying he got an opportunity in a League Cup game and shown what he could do. And you could probably say it's a similar build at the time Billy Gilmore was as well.
Yeah.
So it's his opportunity to really show, like, if you're a good ball-playing midfielder, you can see what impact you can have. So I know they're not exactly the same. I'm just saying it's an opportunity.
Oh, yeah. More importantly, it's a position in the pitch that we're really light in. We don't have, Jordan Henderson can step in and do a job in a 6. Then you're down to James Milner, So there is a position there to be taken. And if Morton's good enough to take it, then that saves us £30 million in the transfer window. Yeah. It's up to him to show it. If he shows it, Klopp has proved throughout his managerial career, he'll play him if he's good enough.
Yeah,
if he's good enough, he'll play him.
And it'll be good as well to see him, because obviously the standard's much higher tonight. And it'll be interesting, and especially to watch. For me, I'm going to keep a close eye on Ox again tonight. Yeah. Because I do think, see the performances Ox can provide us that he has recently. Like, I know he can do that. It's that consistency has always been his will, especially after the first injury. I felt that sometimes in the last maybe couple of years it's been consistency. You have one good game, like plays the game against Atletico, or he plays a good second half against Manchester United and Atletico away when he comes on against Brighton, gets assist and has a nightmare of a second half. So hopefully he can just have a solid 7-10 game tonight, just keep that.
Yeah, that'll do me. I'd be happy. I don't want anyone coming on the post-match, lads, with the Red Sea boys later on and start slating the kids who are coming in. I'd hope to think that they have a good enough performance that we're sat back at the end of the night saying, yeah, he did good. Happy enough for that performance. Good job for a deputy. Happy enough.
Kev, is your phone there by any chance, mate? Because I just wonder if that's maybe making the wee feedback. It's fine, mate. It's just to let you know. But Ox looks a great deal sharper. I do think so. I think he's it looks like he's got a bit more rhythm, but that's obviously because you play running games.
And he probably trusts himself a lot more as well.
Yeah, defensively, he looks like he's, as you said, he's been better at that recently. Well, at least in some of the games. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Ali A says Ox is playing for his future, in my opinion. Well, fair. You could argue that, Ali, because the opportunities have risen with the injuries, and at the moment, overall, I still think he's taking it. Not every game's amazing, but he has had some good games, so he's definitely in contention. Then Mark says stress-free match tonight. I don't know, Mark, because I say that about every game, these games, and I still end up getting annoyed.
Mark, we're all going to be like that when Pepe comes out on Sadio and goes like that. So we've all got that in us as well. But I think that's the only stress that comes on tonight's matches, because we know it's the elephant in the room that anything can happen. And look, anything can happen in any game. So if that's the team that he decides to go with, look, who are we to second guess the guy?
Yeah, it can. There's
a reason he's been paid for it and we're not.
Well, that's it, mate. Michael 2025 asked, if Costas does well tonight, should he start on Saturday versus Southampton? You go first with this one, Kev. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't know, because it might depend on what he wants to do midweek. This day week is a derby, isn't it?
What, a week today?
Yeah, is it a week? We've Southampton, then we've Everton midweek next week.
I think so. I think it's Everton next week.
Yeah, I think this is where you're going to start seeing a lot of chopping, and not a lot of chopping and changing, but 3 or 4 changes a game. I don't expect anyone to be playing full on 3 days a week all the time, outside of the ones who absolutely have to. And Robertson and Tsimikas are in that unique position within the squad that they don't have to play every game. You can rotate between the two. If Robbo comes in on Saturday, fine. Then you can flip it about between the two. Someone can play 2 and have a night off. There is options there. That's one position I think that we don't have issues with. It's a different proposition when you're talking about Virgil playing Southampton the weekend, then playing Everton, then playing the following Saturday again. It's about management of the squad as well. I'm not too fussed either way, to be honest, and that's a compliment to Tsimikas, that I'm not fussed if he plays or not. I'm not fussed if Robert plays or not.
I think I think Tsimikas actually might play well. I want him to this weekend because, as I said before, Kev, I feel like Robbo needs I think you can afford to rest him against Southampton, of course, give him the rest, and then I think he might use the Everton game as a kind of yardstick, a carrot to say, right, we'll just take this off, we'll bring you back in for Everton. Because to be perfectly honest, that game probably does suit him as well, like the intensity of that. So you could probably, I'm thinking from Klopp's point of view, you can probably work that in to make them both kind of ready for next week. So we'll see, but you never know, Kev. You never know.
But I mean, it'd be more interesting, the centre backs, because there's 3 to rotate for 2 spots. And it's good to see Virgil coming out tonight. It will be interesting if he decides to go with Konate and Virgil at the weekend.
On Saturday,
and then maybe bring Joel in for next week against Everton, and then see where the fitness levels are after that to decide what he wants to do for the following weekend's game.
Be interesting. You know? Just the questions have been, the chat's always great, but they've been flying in. Jamie Keegan's asking, this is to you, Kev, I'll ask you, anything of Simeone complaining that LFC could field a weaker side versus Porto, which could force Atleti out if Porto take points?
Yeah, it's look, maybe he should have shaken Klopp's hand when he had the chance. You know, tightness costs nothing. No, look, I mean, Klopp was dead right in his press conference when he said, yes, we got to treat the game with respect, but we're not going to risk players having injury issues on the back of it. When you look at Robbo, he's not going to risk Robbo if he's got muscle tightness. He's not going to risk Divock if he hasn't trained. And he's not going to risk Henderson when he's coming back from an injury. I think there is nothing really more that can be done or said about the starting 11, because the options that are on the bench, almost all of them have issues, and you can make an argument for all of them not starting. And none of it is down to quality on the pitch. Most of the lads that are on the bench are either overplayed, or they haven't trained enough, or they're coming back from injury.
And the thing is as well, Kev, you've won your matches, so you can do what you want.
Yeah, pretty much.
You don't
you name a squad for a reason.
Exactly. So I'm not going to get into it, but it used to really piss me off when top 6 teams used to get away with that for changing for European matches. But then when Ian Holloway done it for Blackpool, it was like a crime against football.
Yeah.
And that really annoys me. There's a lot of snobbery still in football.
It used to happen a lot back when, say, the title was won or top 4 was safe and you might be still in Europe, that you would throw in 2 or 3 kids and a bench against, whoever, when you've only got 4 more league games to go or something. Does young Elliott slot back in when he returns from injury? Do we trust Ox? I think Elliott is further away than what people think. It takes a long time to build up that muscle mass around an injury, especially if you're not been playing or training properly. And I think he'll be bedded back in slowly. They won't be rushed in any way. But when he comes back in, I honestly think that by the end of the season, he'll be back starting as a regular starter again. But I think he'll be eased back in. I don't expect to see him starting games, maybe February.
You're not going to put pressure on that either, Kev, are you? We just said for other players, you're not going to do that with Elliott. So
I think there's definitely pressure on more players than there on the likes of Naby and probably to an extent Ox and James Milner, because you could be in a situation where this could be James Milner's last year with us, and he's going to want to play and be involved in as many match days as possible. And Ox needs to be consistent. No.
No, not tonight, unfortunately. But listen, we enjoyed this, and then the reclaimer ads. Don't tell Gav.
I think someone was saying there earlier about you couldn't understand why Mo is playing. I think a lot of the reason why Mo is playing is purely and simply down to Divock Origi can't be fully match fit to start. And maybe you don't need Divock Origi now, but God forbid he starts tonight and he does something that could put him out for a couple of months when he hasn't trained, whereas Mo and Sadio have trained and they are fit and they are ready. you have to be realistic. You can also only work with the players who are in the UCL squad. Yeah. So the kids that played today, and fair play to the under-19s, had a cracking 4-0 win today. They couldn't be called up because they weren't either at the club long enough or they weren't registered. So
I'll put a comment up. It was answers to everything. Listen, I get what you're saying, mate. Like, I'm a bit annoyed Salah's playing, but as we said at the start, I think me and Kev touched on it. I do think there's a reason behind, because I actually believe Origi would play. I thought it would be Mane, Origi, and Minamino.
Yeah.
But when you actually say if Origi's not fit enough to start, then there's not many other options, as you said, Kev. Not really.
You have to fill the bench. That doesn't mean he's going to play.
Yeah.
I'd be more annoyed if he comes on at halftime. If Origi comes on at halftime or comes on the hour, then I'll be pissed, because he could
comes to like 65, 70. I feel like, right, you can maybe run 25 minutes.
You could do a half. You could do the first half. You know, so I don't expect to see him. No, Mark, I've heard seen absolutely nothing on Joe Gomez whatsoever. I don't know if he's back involved in training in any way. I know it was a knock that he picked up before the international break. So he's 2 weeks into that. Don't know. The Jones one was the one that really worried me, but it was good to see him at the under 19 game today.
It's great. By the way, the comments, as usual, brilliant, but they've been flying in. I'm trying to catch up here. So, Kev, well, that's been a great chat. But on before we finish up, and we'll maybe do before we do predictions, who's your player to watch for us tonight?
Player to watch for us, Thiago. Thiago has an 8 out of 10 performance. We win handy.
Fair enough, mate. Stephen Currell says, Oxman a match tonight. Watch the space. I will do, mate.
Hopefully,
we're watching that.
Hopefully.
Ali A says Morton. Fair enough. I think that'll be an interesting watch.
I'm looking forward to seeing him.
I'm going to go for... Do you know what? I don't know. I'm going to go for... and if I won't say the name, apologies. A really good comment, but I'll butcher it. But it's a good comment. I'm going to go for Minamino. I will be watching Nico as well. Hopefully Nico has a good game. I've started to root. I've always been rooting for him, but watching him for Wales recently, I did feel like he's very much a confidence player, Kev. He's very much a confidence player. Like, it looked like a different player the other day. I'm not saying he's ever going to be good enough to start for us, like permanently.
You know what? You see, I want anyone who comes through the youth academy, if you're getting chances, all I hope is that you take them. Take your chances, because we love nothing more than seeing someone from the youth academy break through and stake a claim into the squad. Is he good enough for the squad? Time will tell.
Sorry, I meant that. I think he's
he's got the impossible task, hasn't he?
I think there's other players who could be a backup. There's other players who come in like Nathaniel Klein, for example. He's not necessarily a Trent, but he's solid enough. Like, came on against Man United, didn't he? We won 3-1. Like there's certain players you can get who don't need to cost you 15 million. They just maybe like 10 million and do a job, and that's the only thing. But we can talk about that more. See who gets tonight. Jamie asks Porto Atletico. So who do you think are going to get out the group with us, Kev?
Sorry?
Who do you think are going to get through, Porto or Atletico, with us?
It should be Atleti, really. It should be. They're after slipping down a bit in Serie A. I think Real Sociedad are top of the table over there, but Juventus, they've slipped down to fourth, I think, at the minute.
Yeah. They started really well, Sociedad. I know that.
Milan haven't been bad recently either, so it's a shame there's so many other good games on tonight apart from us. So it's one of those nights I wish I had a split screen.
Do you know what the strange thing is, Kev? I think the Champions League in general, see the Tuesday nights or the alternative days this year, I know there's been some good games, but really, I think the mixture's not been good. I think the best games have always been
on our nights.
Because I've watched the highlights and went, I wish this was on the night before. Like, PSG City games, and even when it was like PSG Leipzig.
Apart from Bayern, I've watched, no one has stood out this season for me. Even tonight, Napoli losing in Russia in the Europa League, it's it's a weird time going on in Europe at the minute, because I don't think the traditional leagues, are as strong as what they once were, especially Serie A. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the last 16. There are going to be sides going into games tonight that don't want to finish second in their group, because the sides that are winning their groups look like they're going to be dominant. Yeah, and Bejan, no, mate, they're boy, prescribe my glass. I need these to see you, mate. This is where I see you coming.
No, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. But so everyone, get your predictions. What do you think the score prediction will be, Kev? I think Minamino will be the player to watch tonight. What's your score prediction, Kev? What are you thinking?
I said 3-2 last night, and that was on the. Yeah, I'd stick with 3-2. I think there's goals in this for both sides.
Fair enough.
They have to go for it. They have to go for it. 100,
over 100 people in the chat. Can you please smash the like? And if you don't follow or subscribe to Daytrippers, please do. Amazing content, and literally most nights of the week. And then the only night they've not got something on, you're probably already tired out with the amount of shows, because it's that much content. So it's a Saturday night, and to be fair, I think Gav and the guys deserve a rest when it comes to Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, just looking at some of the results. I've just got to stop. So Kev 3-1. Ali thinks 1-1. Interesting, Ali. Interesting one.
I hope maybe not a better game than that.
But it's one of them. I think that's a good shout, to be honest. 2-0 Red Side. Daddy Pig 2-1 Liverpool. 2-2 Aberford. 1-1. So Aberford's 2-2. And who do you think scoring tonight?
I think Taki gets goals. Salah. I think they'll spread it across the front three. I think the front three will score.
Red Steve, I love that, mate. I'm going for that. 6-0, easy.
Steve, you've been right. You've been very close recently, so who knows? I'm going to score first.
Yeah,
banger from outside the box.
Yeah, do you know? No, it's happened, mate. Hits off his knee and goes in. No, I think for me, I'm going to go for. Oh, I can't remember what I said the other night. I had a prediction. I was on the show last night. I can't remember what I said. Did I say 2-1? I said 2-1. I think 2-1, and I'll go for Minamino. And I said Origi, but Origi's not playing, so I'll go for Minamino and Salah tonight. 2-1, and Diaz for Porto. And just, I think Red Side, that could happen.
You know what?
If he was on the left, if he was on the left, though,
yeah,
we'll see.
If he gets the last half hour on the left and Trent comes on the right.
See what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Listen, the guys from the Red Sea will be here after the game for the post-match reaction. Drop in and give the lads a good listen to. Give them a bit of stick if they're playing up, if they're being naughty.
And do you know what? It's one of those games we're already through. It's a good laugh. It's a good chat. So
exactly, it's a great chat.
You've been absolutely amazing.
The guys do brilliant banter as well. So please come in and check them out afterwards.
Keep checking out the chat today has been brilliant. Honestly,
yeah, it's been brilliant,
folks,
guys.
It's been so absolutely brilliant. Like genuinely, I can't even keep up the questions. Great. So everyone, enjoy the game. Kev, is there anything you want to add before we go?
No, I'm looking forward to it. Back on Friday night with Chris, so we'll see. Hopefully, you guys will be able to tune in 10 o'clock Friday night, and we'll sort some decent content out for you guys by then, hopefully. But enjoy the night, and fingers crossed we get a good performance. Get a good performance, we win.
Yeah, no, I think we will, Kev. But anyway, to everyone, see you soon. Take care, folks, and yeah, let's get the 5-0 or 6-0 win, as Red Steve said. Take care, folks. Bye bye.
Good night.